don't like what you did, take it out and do it again.
I two-hand everything.
8.3, 11.6. Got to be immediate. The minute the heater comes off, the putty's got to come out.
The Historic Preservation Commission wanted to find a way to help increase the technical knowledge and the abilities of homeowners, tradespeople, etc. within the area. So the Historic Preservation Commission was awarded a grant in the amount of $12,200, and that grant money allowed us to hire a consultant, Bob Yapp. Preservation workshops were held from September 4th through September 6th. We had 12 participants at each individual session, getting their hands dirty and learning how to work on their historic homes. So on the first day, we had an overview and top tips session in the mornings, and then participants who were signed up for the first session headed over to the work site.
Right now, one of you needs to put about half a cup of borax in there.
First day, we covered how to passively restore wood floors.
We're drying out the floor because we don't want the floor to be anything over 12% moisture content. So we've been using a moisture meter to test it.
Nice muggy day.
Second day, the topic was on painting it right.
I'm believing that we have a layer of old paint with a layer of latex, but there's a way that we're going to find out.
Tips and tools on how to remove old paint.
The speed heater works by heating the resin in the wood, bringing it to the surface, and it pops the paint off, makes it lose its adhesion. It does warm it up, but not like a heat gun. Heat gun bubbles up the paint and all that. This heats it up and helps with that. But the primary way that it removes paint at 540 degrees is by bringing the resin to the surface of the wood. So I'm going to go right here, and I'm still on. All right, I'm going to put right there. Now I'm traversing two courses here. And I'm going to hold it there until it starts to smoke, just a little bit. That smoke is resin, not lead paint.
Lead abatement, because lead paint is a big concern, and then proper painting techniques so that your paint job will last as long as 20 years. The third day was very intensive. It was all day on windows, and more windows. Participants learned how to remove a double-hung wood window, scrape all of the paint off,
See how that roller chisel works?
reglaze glass, put the windows back in so that they'll be energy efficient and will last another 100 years.
One of the things that we've really not done a good job with in the preservation movement over the last 50 years is train people how to do things cost effectively. So we say, oh, you should keep those windows, or oh, don't side that house. And you shouldn't, because it ruins the value of your house and the integrity of it. But you have to have economic reasons for them not to do it, which there are a bazillion economic reasons not to mess up the historic integrity of a house. But if you're going to ask people to do things, you have to give them the tools that they need to be able to do it cost effectively and the knowledge. That's what we've been doing the last 3 days.
This is exactly what I expected, more so perhaps. I wanted good communication, good personality, good flow between the students and the teacher, and good solid demonstrations and explanation, foundation of the techniques that are used.
He loves to teach, and the way that comes through especially is because he's never treats anyone's questions like they're dumb. So he's always happy to entertain questions, and always willing to and loves to show people how to do things.
He's got a tool for everything too. It's really fun to be able to use the tools, and that'll help you remember a little bit what they're for, what they're called, what you would use them for, you know.
So this is the infrared heating device.
How much would one of those cost?
Every good tool, this one and this one, is $500. I don't know why. It just seems like every good tool is $500. You know? You've got a speed heater, don't you? $500.
I've enjoyed meeting other people who are interested in the same things, whether they're from Columbia or otherwise. And Bob has a great sense of humor, which when he tells a story, it makes it memorable, so it's easier for me to remember that this is the tool you use when you do this, because he's told some story that goes along with it.
I just think it's really, really a great community service. Instead of knocking down old buildings and filling up our landfill with crap that's toxic and plastic and asbestos, Can't we fix what we have and maintain the integrity and the cultural style of our city?
I couldn't get this information any other way, so it's been a huge blessing to be part of it. And gosh, it'd be cool if there was a class every month on some sort of facet on taking care of houses, because I feel like there's a lot of us that don't know what goes into home ownership, and it would be helpful to have some tools.
The feedback has been fantastic. Participants feel like they know what they're doing now, and when they do their own work or whether they hire somebody, they know what to look for, they know what to watch out for.
Did you guys get all yours out clean too? Wow.
Because you know we're rock stars.
Yeah, you are rock stars. Preservation at its base root is maintaining or preserving what we have. Keeping the character is basically what we're talking about.
I have an old house in one of our near downtown neighborhoods. Since I bought that house, all anybody wants to ask me about is, when are you going to drum sand all the floors, and when are you going to replace all the windows?
Stop drum sanding floors. Drum sanding floors takes off 1/8 of an inch of the wood and ruins historic floors. And see if it has an obvious dip or whether it seems like it's feathered out pretty well. If you want your floors to look new, you don't want to be living in an old house. The character of the floors, the aging of the wood, that's all really important. And so now we don't put sanders on floors anymore throughout the country. We actually strip the old finishes that are in bad shape and we fix them up. Don't throw out your old windows. Oh my God. The big myth in America today is that replacing your windows is going to save you energy. The Federal Trade Commission came out 2 years ago and said that any window company that claims more than 10% savings in energy with a new window is committing fraud. That's the Federal Trade Commission. Now, that may be true, but it's also true that the payback will be 30 to 40 years. So you'll save enough energy replacing a window to pay for those windows in 30 to 40 years in a house. That's insanity. That's not good economics. Good economics is taking something that's worked for 100 years, repairing it, weatherizing it, and putting it back into use for another 100 years, and making it more energy efficient than a replacement window for less money. And we do it every single day. When it comes to exterior painting, remember that the myth that you can only get a 3 to 5 year paint job is because of stupid things that we do to our old houses. Don't put insulation in the side walls of your old house. If you have plaster walls and you put insulation in there, it's going to cause moisture damage and it's going to seep out through the siding and cause catastrophic paint failure. Don't ever power wash. Power washing is essentially illegal according to the EPA unless you can contain all the water and put it in your toilet. So the fact is that power washing causes more paint failure than anything in the world. And don't paint if the moisture in your wood is over 15%. You can go to one of the big box lumber yards and buy a small moisture meter for 20, 30 bucks and test your wood before you paint it to make sure it's under 15% moisture. Remember that preservation doesn't cost. It pays and pays and pays. So keep the character of your old buildings and you will be happier, because human beings need texture and depth and beauty, and that's what historic structures bring us. And without it, we're living in generic cereal boxes, and you don't want to do that.